We tried. Oh, hey everyone. Welcome to the Spirit Realm Network and Mastering the Shadows. I am Mystic Lee, your host, and we have a guest speaker today, Miss Jennifer. Welcome. So
Hello there.
this week we're going to be talking about astrology and how to navigate our shadow side using astrology.
And a tiny bit of numerology as well.
Yes.
Just because I can't leave out my first lovely.
No, you can't. This is gonna be fun because I've heard so much about like with astrology, how people use it for like romance and kind of their day to day. So it'll be fun to see how we use it for our shadows. So one thing that kind of got me thinking about this is I found this meme in one of the astrology groups that actually wasn't about romance. And I got really excited. And it talks about, because I'm a Libra, and it says Libra dark side. And for those of you who don't know, Libra is September 23rd to October 22nd. And it says Libra has a dark side. They keep this well hidden as they usually don't care to embrace it. Their anger is slow, but once they reach boiling point, there is no controlling them. Libra knows this only too well, which is why they avoid confrontations or conflict. An upset Libra is dangerous, reckless, unpredictable, ruthlessly cold. It is wise not to push them to that point. And I would say I definitely agree with that because I would say that's probably why people might say I'm bipolar because I'm all happy go lucky, and then all of a sudden you cross that line and it's like, the complete like 180, like out of they feel like it's out of nowhere, but I feel like for me it like builds up slowly inside and then it's like, it snaps.
And that's a lot of what Libra will do. They'll like take it in and sort of bury it and sort of bury it. And then they're just like, screw it. And they just like explode. Now, the interesting thing about like your chart, I was telling you a little bit just a minute ago. And
Hey,
I have to put my
Erica.
glasses on. So, oh yeah, I can't see the chat. I can't believe. Oh wait, no wait.
Yeah, so
can
I
see 'em,
figured
can see
it
'em.
if you have to go to the right to get out of the private chat to the group chat. Thank you,
Yeah.
Erica. Erica shared the
Um.
video. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. So I have to put my glasses on because I printed Lee's chart, and it's like really tiny.
Ooh, you guys
But
get to know all about my secrets. I can't hide
it's
them from Jennifer.
it's really really fascinating because like she is a sun air sign, a sun Libra, but she also has a rising sun in air, and which is Aquarius, and a Virgo moon. So it's like you double dipped in the air, which is all that wanting to study, wanting to like learn. And you and Rachel are just all about that, like study and learn. You're just like that typical air sign. But there is some grounding influence in you. So I think
Ooh.
that's fantastic having that Virgo moon, that you are a little bit grounded. And
Mm-hmm.
when you start looking at those like shadow sides, you know,
Mm-hmm.
Aquarians can be very distant, and people can think that they're cold, but they're really misunderstood. They are the observers, which is really what we all should be, is like being that like observer and going, because that's where the really good healers come from, is someone that can take the emotion out of it and say, okay, I know you're in pain. I don't want you to be in pain, but I have to stop and like look at this and think this through. So this I think people can look at that with Aquarius and go, "Oh, they're cold, they're distant." And I think that's a misunderstanding. I think that's a shadow side because
Yeah.
but when you say, no, 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 I like, feel pretty deeply, but let me tell you what's going through my head, you know?
Yeah, I think that's what it's just so interesting to think how each sign has like a different like shadow side to it, right? Like I guess it's not something we all kind of talk about, right? But it's probably something that we need to talk more about. For those of you who are chiming in, like I love talking about astrology with Jennifer because I'm so like ignorant to so much of it. We've got hey Zara, hey Catherine. So Catherine's also a Libra. Erica is a Virgo moon and a Sun Gemini rising. Hey Rena, welcome, and she is a Pisces.
This
Let's
is really,
Veronica,
this is,
welcome. So I figured what we could do is just so I have this book for to help the
yeah.
astrology Bible because I am so astrology not the smartest. Hey Marcus. Marcus is an Aries. So in this book, it actually goes through each of the zodiacs and it gives a shadow side. So I thought I would read from it and just see like if you agree with it, disagree with it, or if you could expand on what they discuss the shadow side for each sign.
Yes,
So
because I do like to say that some of them, most of the things that I perceive as like things that are misunderstood, about our friends, the Capricorns, or things that are misunderstood about, different signs. If we see that as a misunderstanding and go, oh, well, I just have to explain it, or I just have to like not justify it, but I think it's like giving everybody that little like sandwich board that you might be wearing, saying, hey, I may say things in a way that you may interpret as mean, but I'm a Scorpio and that is how I speak, and directly,
yeah,
and you know what
yeah,
I
give
mean?
me a little better perception on what you mean. So like I know like for example with Aries, right? Like I'm a Libra married to an Aries. And the way Aries demonstrates love, right, is so different from a Libra. And to me, at first, was like annoying and kind of offensive. And I had to, this is one thing I love about memes is somebody made a meme about, an Aries being in love where, it's like a little short man with his hand out, like, give me a hand. And I just started laughing because it is exactly how my husband is. And some people, right, like they couldn't that would be not the type of love they can deal with. While other people, right, like once I realized it was like he was such a stereotype, now whenever he does it, instead of being annoyed by it, I can't help but to laugh, right? Um,
Right.
and talking about Aries, so in this book, it says for the shadow, the Aries shadow incorporates the vacillating tendencies of its opposite sign Libra, leading to procrastination. Like Libra, the shadow has difficulty saying no. There is an anything for a quiet life attitude that promises much but delivers little. Huh.
So the great thing is about Aries is that they're good leaders. The
Mhm.
let's call it a shadow side. People can say that they're bossy,
Okay. Yep.
you know, or they can say they're very straightforward, or they can say that they're very pushy.
Yeah.
But I've met your husband, and I don't think he's offensive. I think he's kind of funny. I think he's like a little bit of a smartass, which again makes me laugh because look who I hang out with. You
Yeah.
know,
But to someone who can't take that, right? Like that could come off triggering. And so that I could see how that's a shadow. Just it kind of just depends on how you embrace that, right?
exactly. It's how you embrace it. It's how you interpret it.
All right.
So,
So we have hey Dreamus. Dreamus is a Taurus in Lilith and Blood Moon this month. Um
oh no,
And then Tracy is from Scotland. And Jackie, her sister is a Scorpio and she is a Pisces. So with all these, I'm assuming these are people's sun signs. So when we're dealing with the shadow side, is there a difference between our shadow side of our sun versus the shadow side of, let's say, like from my sun sign is right Libra, so my moon sign
Mhm.
is Virgo. So how I guess does that play with our shadow side? Does it matter
So
if
it
our,
does. It does play with your shadow side because your sun is like your personality, and it's just like, hey, this is me, there's my personality. Your moon sign is that feminine part of you, where the sun sign is your masculine part.
Mhm.
It's the outward personality. Then you have the moon sign, which is your emotions, and it's your like it's how your emotional directives. How are you filtering it? How are you handling it? So this woman, and Glenda is a Glenda Lindsay is a Taurus. There's a couple of Tauruses in here. um the lady that says, Jackie, that says she's a Scorpio, or no, her sister's a Scorpio and she's a Pisces. Okay,
Yeah, and they
so
say
without
they don't get along. Is it their shadow side why they don't get along?
it very well could be. It also could be what's happening with their moon. It could also be what's going on with where their north node is. It could be a lot of stuff mixed in there, because that's like one of many flavors. But the thing about it, when you look at Scorpios are very direct. They're just
Mhm.
blunt. I mean, the thing is, they love very deeply, and once they do like
Well,
attach
and then
themselves to
Pisces
you, they
are
won't
really
ever let
sensitive,
go.
right?
Huh?
And Pisces is really sensitive, so I could see how being
Pis-
really direct versus being sensitive.
Pisces are super sensitive.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that makes
So,
sense.
yeah. So, if you want to do like an order, we just did the Aries. What about the Taurus? What does
All
the
right.
book say about Taurus?
So with Taurus, it says the shadow incorporates the unpleasant side of Scorpio. Venomous ill humor, envy, jealousy, and resentment fuel an underlying smoldering rage. The archetyped grudge bearer. Taurus never forgets and finds it impossible to forgive. Oh my gosh.
Okay. So, Taurus are very possessive, but it's like the bull. I mean, the bull that they are.
Yeah.
So they are very possessive. They like for their home and their relationships to be practical and sensual.
Mhm.
They don't like to have somebody else in their territory, messing with their stuff, and they're just like, no, no, no. And they will move at their own pace. So
Yeah.
it doesn't matter like how much, and I say this because one of my sons is a Taurus, and oh my gosh, if I try to herd that kid into one direction, he's just like, no. So I have to take a different approach, and I have to be
Mhm.
like, guess what we're doing? This is so much fun. I have to bring that like little bit of sensual, like, this is so great. This is so much fun. This is just so great, and
Oh no,
over and
I'm
over.
afraid.
Yeah. To just like
The
go,
grass over here is greener, I promise. This
like,
way.
this is better than ice cream. It's as good as chocolate. Come on. And that's a great thing, is that if you want to like connect with the Taurus, and I don't care if it's a man, woman, or goat, you bring them something good to eat. You bring them a treat. And if they're a health nut, bring them something healthy, gluten free, low sugar. Um, but if they're not, bring them the ooeyest, gooeyest thing that you can find with caramel all over it, and go, here. And they're going to be like, yeah, where did you want to go? Did you want to go to the mall on Black Friday? Absolutely. Let's go. You have to present it right to them.
Erica saying that sounds just like me, but she's a Virgo.
Oh, hun, that's another Earth sign, and that
We're
would be
getting there.
me.
We're getting there. So next, what we have is Gemini. So the shadow for Gemini, the untrustworthiness. The shadow appears quite openly from time to time. This is the trickster fixer, the con artist who persuades you it's actually a good deal. This motivation is often boredom, a reaction to stupidity, or a sense of being snubbed. So
Oh my gosh.
does this mean all the so all the con artists are all supposed to be Geminis?
Well,
At least the
some of them
successful
probably
ones,
are.
right?
I Lee, I'm telling you, one of my dads is a Gemini, and I have a Gemini moon. My other
Oh
dad
my
is a
god, be worried
Capricorn.
about you.
I know. My other dad is a Capricorn, and I have Capricorn rising. So I am the culmination of all three of my parents because my mom's a Virgo.
Uh-huh.
So this is so interesting. So the Gemini is the twins, right?
Mhm.
And
Yep.
you never know what you're going to get. You don't know if you're going to get Dr. Jekyll or Mr. Hyde. But
Yep.
either way, they're smart as hell. And backed into a corner, they're going to make sure if they're backed into a corner, all of a sudden, if you're talking to them, you're going to find yourself in the opposite position and you're going to see them getting away while you're stuck in the corner.
Oh wow.
They are ruled by Mercury, and they're really really good at talking themselves out of tough situations. And I mean, Gemini moon here, you can do that. But the thing is, they can also be fairly scattered. You know, they're just, if they have something in mind and they have it the way that they have fixed on it, don't mess with it. If you
Yeah.
mess with it, it's just, they're going to be like, okay, I can't operate now. I can't. And then they get all pissed off, and that's when Mr. Hyde comes out. So they're usually
Okay.
very gregarious people that want to talk and, get, chat, but they don't always want to make a commitment.
Okay, I see. So that's kind of where that con thing is, the chatty, but really the intention behind there's a little different. So,
Which is why this Gemini moon didn't get married until she was 40.
ah,
And before that, my longest relationship was 9 months, and that boy lived out of town. So, I was not the one that gave out keys to my places. And, I wanted them to like be there when I wanted them there, but then I needed them to leave.
yeah. Okay, so seeing that two different sides of you then.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense. Yeah. Hey Hannah, welcome. Happy Wednesday. Rena is saying that her mom is a Gemini. Ooh, so how can I guess that can be see both sides of that is it being your mom, right? Pushing those
Gemini moms, yes, Gemini moms can be very entertaining. They're the ones that are like, okay, what time are you coming home tonight? And when you say midnight, they'll be like, okay, we don't have a set curfew here. Well, you can come home at midnight, but if you get there at 12:01, they bring the hammer down.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're like, no, you can't do that. But they're the fun moms too. They're the ones that like, will show up at the party with a pony or something, at a kid's party. The Gemini moms are usually like practically entertaining.
Okay. Well, that's exciting. Well, oh, she says also her mom is calm. So that sounds awesome. That sounds like a great childhood right there, right? Hey,
I
Cheryl,
know.
thank you. I hope you're doing well. I hope you are also doing well. Veronica is saying they wake up one way and go to bed with another
Yes,
personality.
they do, Veronica. Yes, they do.
Two sides. Well, that's kind of
Uh-huh.
like Cancer. moving along, right? I feel like I can always sense Cancer's shadow side a little bit more than others. So it says the shadow side of Cancer arises from the strong emotional hold this sign would like to have over things and people. It's a slippery shadow born of personal insecurity. I think that's why I personally have a really hard time dealing with most cancers, even though, from my understanding, we both have a close friend who is a Cancer, right?
Yes.
Bobby?
Yes.
He's
But
he is
he
very
is a
different
little,
though.
yes.
So most of the time, um, I have a hard time getting close with Cancers because I can feel that shadow side. And it's so funny because with Bobby, I don't get that feeling. I feel so comfortable around him. But I think that has a lot to do with your other
It
signs,
does.
other
So
parts of the chart.
I've got his chart here. You know I do. So
Bobby, are you here? We're talking about
he's
you.
a he's a double Cancer,
Oh,
but he
double
has a
Cancer.
Scorpio moon.
Oh, so he's got a shadow with his shadow, a shadow to keep his shadow in check.
Mm-hmm. But you see, then again, this is where all of the other flavors of the chart play in because his north node is the same as yours. Y'all are both have a north node in Aries. So you're both just like, okay,
Common
we're gonna
ground
step
right
out.
there.
Yeah, we're gonna bust up this like stagnant energy. And I will say that cancers can be stagnant
Yeah.
because they like the routine. That's
Yeah.
why they're really
I
good.
get frustrated with that. I just want to push. That inner part of me is like, go. And then they're emotionally like, no. And you're just like, oh,
But they love the routine. They like being homemakers because it's their space and
yeah.
they know what to do, you know. And it, the thing is they're very intuitive people, but they don't always trust themselves because they they don't like to get out of their little comfort zone.
Yeah. They like that shell.
Mm-hmm.
And if you
So
push
they
them
like,
too hard, they'll just retreat right back in it. And you're like, dang it, wrong
and you
direction. Yeah,
can't
you
get
have
them
to be
out.
so patient. So, and patience is a virtue, right? That's probably why I'm like, Cancer shadow, you're testing
And,
my patience.
yes, and if you try to push them, they won't. They're
Yeah.
just like, and they're stubborn as hell. They have one of those kind of memories that's like a steel trap. So they'll remember
Yeah.
shit, excuse my language. They'll remember stuff that happened like in 1978 on August 4th at 3 p.m., and they're like,
And they will still hold you to it too in 2025, right?
oh,
So,
yeah, yeah, until they take their last breath.
hey,
So,
Rena saying happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
hey, Rena.
Cheryl saying
Happy
that sounds like
Thanksgiving to
her
you.
brother. Yeah,
Um,
right. That's tomorrow. Gobble gobble.
oh my gosh, it is tomorrow.
It is, isn't
Well,
it?
my family celebrates on Saturday, so
Thank you,
we're eating
Erica,
chicken
for
tomorrow.
talking about my Flower of Life earrings.
Oh my gosh, aren't they great? She
Huge.
wears earrings as big as her face.
They have to be.
Yeah.
Um,
All right, we'll get to the fiery
okay. So,
Leo.
yep, Leo is next. So the shadow is the sign's tendency to organize other people can become a compulsive urge to control. The shadow side of the Leo character seeks to exploit other people's weaknesses. Oh my.
So
I had an
so think
ex-boyfriend who was a Leo.
of so think of that lion. All right? They're running their pride, right? And they're
Yep.
just like, if they don't want to go a certain direction, they're just like, no. If they want
Yep.
to stop, everybody stops. The thing is, they do occasionally get taken down by who? A younger member.
Yep. Or their ego.
Yeah, true. So they are they're very dramatic.
Mhm.
Um, they really like, they really, Leos are great actors. They're really dramatic. Look at Jennifer Lopez. She's a great Leo. She is just very dramatic. She's, an actress, but she's a great singer. She's a great performer.
A
And
superstar.
yes, but they like being the center of attention.
Mhm.
So even as parents, even as Leo parents, because Leo parents like to take care of their kids, but
Oh,
they also still look for
Jackie's
that.
saying both her mom and dad were Leo parents.
So they do like to take care of their kids, but their kids need to understand that their parents are the center.
Mhm. Okay. Yep. That makes sense. That can be hard though, right? Especially if you're a teen.
Oh my gosh, it can be really hard.
So, and then Erica is talking that you're using voice texting. So if your words look a little weird in the comments, that's why. Um,
It
and
can't
then
understand me either.
Cheryl's saying that her daughter has been bossy since the day she was born and always wants to be in charge.
Mm-hmm.
Hey,
It's that
Amber.
Leo energy. Amber, hi. We did cover Taurus, Amber. Not that you guys are
Yeah,
stubborn, but you're a little stubborn.
maybe just a
Um,
little. Might be part of your shadow. Maybe just a little bit.
well,
So,
so I know there's no shadow effects to Virgos because we're the best that there
because you're
is.
one. So your shadow side, the prudish shadow shies away from anything unwholesome and yet can be deeply attracted to voyeurism or pornography. This reprised meddling persona has a sneaking suspicion that he or she knows better than anyone else. Well, I can say this, at least being
Uh-oh. Are we frozen or is it just me?
your friend, if people can hear, okay,
There we
I
go.
think we're back. Okay.
Okay.
I can say that I've never felt like you've come off as that prudish kind of knows better
Okay.
than anyone else. At least if you do, you keep it to yourself, and I haven't witnessed it yet. My
Well,
sense, you've hidden it well from my third eye.
of course, I make a joke out of I
You make a
obviously
joke
know
out of
better
it.
than you do. Yeah. I make a joke out of that. But somewhere in my, molecular structure, I'll be like, that's a bad idea. But I have also learned the hardest ways possible that you have to stop and let other people make their choices and mistakes
Yeah.
and just go, okay, I'm here. Let me know how that turns out. Good or
Mhm.
bad, I'm just interested. So you just let me know I'm here for you. And I can either help you celebrate or I can help you clean up the mess.
Yeah. With my Virgo
Which
moon,
is,
I can definitely say, yeah, I've had to learn that with letting other people make their own choices.
and it
It's
is
hard when
tough,
you see
man.
it though. When you see, you're like, oh my gosh, the cliff's right there. Don't go near the cliff. And they're like, do do,
I
and you're
know.
just like,
And you're
you know
like,
what? I
um,
can't see anything.
there's
I
a,
can't.
yeah.
You
And
won't
you go,
listen anyway.
there's like an edge there. And you just keep going. There's right there, right where you are, right there,
Yep.
just and so, but they don't always want to listen, so
No.
you
And then
just
you gotta
have
put
to
the net
say,
out. Will I put the net out for you? I don't know.
mm-hmm. And
Uh,
so it's difficult. I will say that Virgos all over the world like to look nice, or at least they like to look in their own eyes, they like to look nice. I mean, there's a lot of people that probably do not like my eyelashes, but I don't care because I feel like they look good. You know?
Yeah. I like
So,
them.
but
I
I
think they
also
look
make a joke
picky.
out of it. Huh?
But then again, I said I like them. But then again, sometimes, but I like to wear lashes sometimes too. So, but that's my
See?
Virgo moon. So mine's not quite as loud as yours, but I definitely, it's like you're right in front of me, Jennifer, but I'm not that far behind you in some of those Virgo stereotypes.
But you always like to look good. You know how to pose for cameras. Look
Yeah.
at all your pictures. But there's a lot of things with Virgo that I do, because I do want to fix things for people. And Virgos are like, they want to fix it. And yes, we can be prudes. There's a lot of Virgos, and I think it depends on where some of the signs are that want to be prudes. Luckily, my sun is in my 8th house, which adds that whole another level of that Scorpio flavor that just makes me want to talk about sex all the time.
And you do
So
in such a fun way.
I'm just
Your
trying to be
work, it,
graphic.
well, no, it's fun. It's almost like being in middle school again around the boys, but with that female flair, so it's not gross, it's just funny.
Hmm. It's good. It's good. So
Amber
I'm
says
so glad you
Virgo,
guys are enjoying that.
Virgo
It-
rising. This Amber has a Virgo rising.
that's
So
a soul path right there.
so transitioning from Virgo to Libra, my shadow
Woo!
side. So we kind of went over that to start with, but we'll see what the book says, right?
Okay.
For such a peaceable sign, Libra has a surprisingly selfish shadow, incorporating the more obnoxious traits of Aries, self-absorbed and obstinate. It it is as though all the concern for the welfare of others that Libra normally exhibits is inverted. This shadow figures lies and cheats in pursuit of its own selfish ends. Well, I would
But
say that my husband sure loves to point out my shadows.
but I don't think, see, that's the thing, is that I don't think Libras are selfish. I think Libras think in terms of, I have to have a full cup in order to give to others.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
It's
how.
like we're giving till we hit that point, and I think that's what was kind of talking about with the meme earlier. It's like we're
Mhm.
one way, and then we have something built up, and it's probably because we don't know how to own our shadows, just in everyone in general. So as it builds up, we don't know how to communicate that, and then all of a sudden it snaps. So I can see how all of a sudden you've pushed everything out, and then all of a sudden you need things to fill, like you said, to fill your cup, and how that can come across as selfish all of a sudden, but all of a sudden it's like give, 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 and then all of a sudden it's like i need
I'm empty.
i
Yeah.
need now.
Right. I mean, and it's the one meme that I really like about Libras is where they are where it's like somebody is sitting there and going, if I say I'm hungry, you got about 40 minutes before I lose my mind.
Yep, that sounds about right.
That's a
40 minutes.
Libra because everything has to happen in balance with a Libra. And if things don't balance out, if there's not some kind of justice and fairness with work and play, with home and social life, if there's not some kind of balance in that, it will wreck their stomach.
Oh yeah,
They're
pure
like, it
chaos
just tears
then.
up their GI. Huh?
Then it creates pure chaos, and that is not, yeah, I mean, and I can see how then that can trigger like depression and a downward spiral in other ways, especially if those around you
Mm-hmm.
don't understand, right? So
Yes.
those around you can't help create that support to rebalance that when it
Yes.
comes out of alignment, right? So
And that's the thing is Veronica Jackson is not wrong. Like
yeah,
people,
like,
if they have a lot of Libra in their chart, or if they do need to be out like dancing. They
Yeah.
really do. So if you have some sort of cultural like a background in like dancing like Native American or shamanic or like tribal anything, that's something that you need to practice, even if it's in your bedroom, out in your backyard, or at a big like festival thing. It will bring joy and peace to your heart. And if
And
you know somebody
grounding.
with a lot of Libra, get them in something. Get them, yes, at grounding. That's awesome,
Yeah.
Lynn. Get them in something. Get them into tap dancing. Get them into jazz dancing. Hell, take a break dancing class. Doesn't that sound like fun? I mean, this
Mhm.
would be, it's energetic and it keeps that balance for them, that movement. And yeah, so Veronica's absolutely right. It's good. It's good.
Jackie says, my daughter will say, do it, or I'll smack your teeth out of your mouth. Yeah, yeah, I am. My kids have probably heard something similar from my mouth. Do it, or you're gonna get smacked.
Oh my
Um,
gosh.
the Erica putting the yin and the yang. So moving
Yes.
from Libra to Scorpio, right? Because everyone gets a little hesitant when we talk about Scorpios, right? We think a lot of shadow energy in general. So when we get to their shadow, it says Scorpio shadow is venomous and full of spite. It compromises all the grudges the sign has ever held and combines them with the mullish absency it shares with its opposite sign, Taurus. Drawn strongly towards self destruction, this shadow falls easily into masochistic, masochistic, and sadistic practices.
Okay.
So,
I
like
don't
serial
feel
killer.
like Scorpios are that bad. Now, I
That's
have met
kinetic.
some that are double Scorpios or have just a shit ton of Scorpio in their chart and you're like, "Oh my." But let me tell you, those are some of the best caregivers that you will ever find. Those are some of the best nurses that you will ever find because they will come into your hospital room and go, darling, you got to move because you got bed sores. Okay. Now I know this is going to be painful, but we're going to do this together. Let's go. And they don't take no for an answer. They go straight in and they're like, no, 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 no. We're going to take care of this together. They run deep. If you've got a Scorpio moon, if you've got a lot of Scorpio in your chart, you run deep. I mean, my favorite aunt is a Scorpio and she's a great nurse. But let me tell you, when somebody starts to piss her off and I see it happening, I just go, I'm gonna go over here. And
You're like,
I
I'm
step the hell out
leaving
of the
this
way. But
space.
yeah, because that is something that everything runs so deep with them. So
Yeah,
if you piss them off on the surface, they're going to take that and run it deep and they're going to pull out the big guns and they're going to take a cannon to a fly. You know, that's
yeah,
the intensity. But they are very intense, but they're also like curious people. They want to know, they want to investigate, they want to peel back the layers. So if you come to a Scorpio that's a nurse or a therapist or a doctor and you say, this is what's going on with me. I know my body very well. I'm sick. This is happening, or I don't feel good, or this is what's happening. They go, okay. And they start tracking, they
mhm,
start pulling it back. Some of the best nursing care I've ever had has been from a Scorpio nurse.
okay. Yeah, because
So it's
yeah,
intense.
it can be well, that's like over here. I think a lot of us, right, when we normally think of Scorpios, we know the intensity, but we think of that shadow side, right? Because I think for a lot of us, when we get intensity when it's with the light, right, it's so comforting, right?
Hmm.
Here I see Chris is immediately saying demons. Erica saying Scorpions love to sting. Um, Veronica, my weapon of choice, right? The cannon. So
I
we
can
like when we
totally see
take
that
the
with her.
photos, right? And then Barbara's over here, me pulling everyone's chart out, right? Yeah, that's what it
Uh-huh.
says. Pulling
Okay,
everyone's chart
Jackie,
out. And
your
I think who's the
sister.
Scorpio?
Yeah, Jackie, your sister, she's an RN. I'm telling you, if she's had patients that were really tough, she'll go in and she's like, no, we are getting better here. I mean, they're great healers. They really are, but they will not, they're not going to pull anything with you. So Lee, this is really good, y'all. I'm going to
Zodiac
tell a
sign
little
is
bit more about
Scorpio
Lee.
doctor.
She has a Scorpio in Mercury. I mean, her Mercury's in Scorpio. So her communication is in Scorpio. And if any of you know Lee really well, you know that she doesn't pull any punches. She's just
Yeah.
like, no, this is the research I've done. This is what I see, and wham. And you're like, okay. Yeah. Yeah.
I've heard from other people that I can be really intense sometimes. And I'm like, I don't mean to be. I just like when I know what I'm about to say, I just know. And it's like you said, bum 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 right there. And most people are just like, wow. And I'm like,
And then you're just like, is
read
that
it
okay?
me, right? I want to hear from you. They're like, are you sure? I'm like, yes, this isn't, I want to hear after you read it what you say.
This is so much fun. But yes, it is. They can be intense, but I personally I like it. I like having some of that intense energy on my side.
Yeah. I like it when I get
Yeah.
it pushed back at me, right? Like, because normally I can tell it's too much for some people, but when other people can take it and then push it back, it like makes my inner Scorpio get even more excited. Like, oh, so we've got two going at this now. Yes, I'm not
Because
alone.
you're a Libra and you want to have that dialogue. You're like,
Yeah,
let's
a
talk about this.
balance.
We don't have to hate each other and we don't have to hate what the other one is saying, but let's have a dialogue about it.
Let's
Let's
have
talk
a
about it.
passion from both sides. I like your
Right.
passion, even though I don't like what you're saying, but I like how committed you are to saying it.
Yes. Man, I love these things that they're saying about Scorpios. Because one of my boys has a Scorpio moon, and God help us all because, oh
Sing
my
with the
gosh, that kid is deep.
singing.
Yeah.
Yeah, Erica's like, that's why we connect. Yes, it is. Positive vibes. I say it with
All
positive
right.
vibes, right?
Well,
Okay, so moving on to Sagittarius.
and we're in Sagittarius season. There is at least one Sagittarius that I see right now in the chat.
Oh, who's that? Because I'm horrible with remembering everybody's signs.
I'm sorry, Miss Jackson. I got to call you out.
Ooh. All right, so
Okay.
Sagittarius shadow shares Gemini's ability to disassemble, an accomplished liar. This character promises many things and then simply forgets about it in the pursuit of yet something more exciting and more experience. The insincerity permeates every aspect of life. Boastful and rebellious, the Sagittarian shadow wants to be noticed and to be liked. When pushed, the natural tactlessness of the sign takes on a cutting and spiteful aspect. Oh my.
Okay, let me tell
We're
you.
talking about
Let me just
Scorpios.
No, but the Sagittarius, let me tell you the Sagittarius energy, okay? Sagittarius energy is Santa Claus.
Oh, Santa
Santa
and
Claus.
Krampus?
So is it, yeah, so is it a lie? Maybe it's more like a fantasy. Maybe it's more like
Oh.
it's more like the storytelling. And is it really a biting or is it sarcasm? Because how many Sagittarians do we all know that are so good at sarcasm? And you will be talking to them, and then all of a sudden they come out with a one liner, and you're like, oh my gosh. And then they just go, what? What'd I say? And you're like, what? I mean, I can't even tell you how many times I've been talking to a Sag and I'll go, what? Because I don't think that quickly. Sagittarians are the ones that are going to come out with that one liner and just blow everybody away or shut everybody up or have everybody rolling on the floor. And then they're going to take a bow and leave. They're going to be like, yeah, I'm leaving on a high note. Peace out. But you promised to make dinner. Yeah, I'm good. Y'all are good. You'll be fine. Order pizza.
I'll remember
There,
that. Don't make plans with Sagittarius. Don't have any expectations.
but they're so much fun. They're so much fun. And if you go on a trip with them, they will probably go into a city that they haven't been in for 15 years and they'll go, there used to be a donut shop up here on the corner. Turn right. And you turn right and then there's this famous donut shop and then they go, yeah, let's eat here. And you're like, we're on our way to the restaurant. No, it's fine. We'll just stop here for a minute.
Erica's like, and
Sag.
then they'll put the blame on you later.
Well, I'll be asking our friend Miss Jackson's daughter about that. But I mean, but the thing is they have that expansion energy, which is hard to harness.
Mm.
So depending on where else they are, what else is in their chart, it really is, it can be hard to harness. The thing is, being a blunt speaker is a double-edged sword, a lot like the Scorpio. Not everybody can receive it well. So the Sagittarians dress it up with a little bit of sarcasm.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
They do a little better job than the Aries because they don't put any of that fun spin to their directness at all.
No, because if you walk up to a Scorpio or a Sag and say, do I look fat in this? The Scorpio is going to say, yeah, you look like the size of a house. And a Sag is going to go, I never realized your ass was that big. It's a different way to say the same thing.
Yeah. Erica says they could be sweet when they want to be and better when they want to be. Yeah.
Bitter, yes.
Bitter, yeah. All right,
but,
so moving on to Capricorn. The criticalness, narrow-mindedness, pessimism, and rigidity define the Capricorn shadow. Inner dissatisfaction creates a driving need for validation and success in the outside world. Ooh, so are these like the Karens of our society?
These are the capitalists. These are the capitalists. These are the people that they need to see. They need to see the material. They need to see the material growth of their lives.
Okay.
They need to see the house. They need to see the car. They need to see that material in order to feel successful.
I wonder if my husband has a Capricorn moon because I feel like he's got a lot of that shadow. Normally, he's not a money person, but it is when it comes to wanting to save for a big TV or a bigger house or not just a boat, but a big boat.
Right. And you need to see when you're looking at and see Capricorn in your chart. If there's a lot of stuff in your 10th house, that has the Capricorn flavor too. So, and your 10th house also has your midhaven in it, which is your, bless you. Now I'm going to cough. But it's your 10th house, which also has your midhaven in it, which is all about your career.
Mm-hmm.
So
okay.
when we were talking about yours, your career path is very eccentric. That makes sense.
Yeah.
But You also want to look and see where your Saturn is, because Capricorn is ruled by Saturn. So we have a lot of rigidness. We have a lot of that grandfather, like high school principal, like, kind of mentality around a Capricorn. It is rigid. It is
Mhm.
like disciplined. It does need to see like that outward sign of like, I'm successful. Where other signs, like a Cancer or even really a Scorpio, they don't need to show the world that they're successful. They just need to feel it, you
Okay.
know? And like the Sag is like, okay, we're worth like $1 million 1 minute and $5 the next. It's all good. You know, that's not how the Capricorn energy is, you know?
Hmm.
Sagittarius is recess, Capricorn is math class.
Big
And
difference.
yeah, and it's all important, but it's like how you harness your ambitions, is how you harness your discipline and your
Yeah.
life's lessons.
And like Erica says here, strict.
Yes, yes, they are very strict. They
All
can be
right.
very strict.
So moving right along to Aquarius.
Oh, okay. So
Ooh.
wait, before you do that, so if Sagittarius is a recess, I'm sorry, Lee, and Capricorn is math class, Aquarius is philosophy.
Ooh. All right. So here we have with two such powerful co-rulers, Aquarius can have one of two shadows. Ooh. The Saturnian shadow is cold, rigid, and disapproving, a perfectionist craving control, which it may achieve through anarchy. The second, dominated by Uranus, is
Mhm.
convention is unconventional and perverse with it, doing things simply for the sake of being different, sometimes psychotic. This shadow figure aspires to anarchy and annihilation. Wow, definitely don't want to get on that shadow side if you are a Virgo, right?
Okay.
Anarchy
Now,
to your perfection for
no, Virgos do like everything to be perfect and tidy.
yep.
So but now Lee, here we go again. Lee has Aquarius rising. So when you start looking at Aquarius, they are they're the I don't want to say the remote viewers. They're the ones that are watching. They step back. And these people do make very good healers because they can step back out of the situation. They can pull themselves back emotionally and they can look at the bigger picture. There's a lady in the chat that said she was an Aquarius moon, a rebellious artist. Yes, Pisces and Aquarius together will definitely give you that rebellious artist feel. Aquarians are super smart, super smart. So you can say, okay, let's start with A and follow all the steps until we get to Q. And they're like, I don't have to. I can go from A to Q without going through all of those steps. And it drives people crazy. And then it makes them want to rebel and go, screw you, I'm going to go do my own thing anyway.
That's like Jackie saying, my son is 21 and won't hold a job, tries to get everything for free, and nothing is ever their fault. Wait, is that the,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's
I'm
that
really
artist,
interested in what
right?
his moon is. No,
Very
Roderick
smart,
is the
right? Well, it's that
yeah.
inner anarchist.
It really could be. But Aquarians are super smart. They need something to occupy them in their mind. They're really good. I'll tell you what they're really good at. They're really good at being professors. They're really good at like being a perpetual student and getting paid for it.
Nice.
They're very good teachers because again, they can step back and be the observer. And let me tell you something. If you invite an Aquarian somewhere, or if you ever go to a wedding that is an Aquarius, they may have on something like crazy. Like if the bride is an Aquarius, she may have just spray painted her wedding dress like hours before the wedding started. Or if the groom is an Aquarian, he may have on like a purple tux jacket and like bright blue socks or a red cummerbund, like something just totally off the wall, and then just go, what? What? It's the kind of people that just one day you see them and they have long hair like Lee's, and the next day they've come back and they've shaved half of their head. I don't know. I just kind of felt like it.
Yeah, yeah, that sounds about right. And
Uh-huh.
now we're into the age of Aquarius, and we're wondering kind of why we're getting kind of crazy like that. It's going to be a fun several centuries.
Mm-hmm. But they
All
do.
right,
They
so
make very good professors. I'm sorry. We got one more. Pisces.
one
Sorry.
more because we got a few more minutes left. So I guess I don't think anyone comes on right after me. If not, sorry. I think we're gonna run over today. My bad. All right. So the Pisces shadow is the martyr who feels put upon and used. This persona is created by an inability to discern when it is inappropriate to go on giving and to stop doing everything for someone else. A major feature of the Pisces shadow is guilt and a consequent drive to atonement and immolation. Self immolation. Uh,
Okay.
yeah, my daughter's a Pisces. She definitely sometimes puts on that whole martyr victim kind of like you're like, hey, you just hit your brother, and then all of a sudden it's I'm a bad child. I have to go to my room, and you're like, I didn't have to send you to your room. You're okay. Bye, bye.
The
You heard
Pisces. I know.
him.
I know. They are super, super sensitive.
Yeah,
Um, the other thing is because they are so sensitive, they have to learn to establish boundaries, not only for other people, but for themselves,
yeah.
because they will ride that martyr train all the way home. And if they are coupled with something like an Aries moon, where
Oh my
it can be
gosh.
aggressive.
Woo.
So then an Aries moon with a Pisces with the Pisces sun can either be very good at business and like a caring soul that wants to take care of everybody and is like a little like psychic but also really good in business, or they can be that person that is just like, I'm going to be a martyr and let everybody pay for my stuff. There's like
Mm.
two angles to that, you know? And so it's really hard. And Jackie, I could see that because
Yeah.
a lot of Pisces people want to do jobs where they don't have to talk to people
Well, it's because
because
it's the
they're also
boundary.
good. Yes, because
It's
they're
all
good
about
energy
setting
readers.
boundaries for Pisces. My aunt,
Hmm.
God rest her soul, she was so sweet to me, but she definitely, I mean, it's because you got to set boundaries. And I think it's harder, even harder for Pisces, but even more important for Pisces as far as being able to get a handle on that shadow, right?
Yes,
Um,
because they're the most emotional of the water signs. I
yeah,
mean, the most on the surface, not on the surface, the most showing of the
yeah,
emotions of the water signs. Because Scorpio likes to hide their emotions, keep it deep, And Cancer is just like, let's just do that at home. And Pisces is their emotions are right there all the time.
Right in your face, so you can't ignore it. You know how
No,
they feel. It's right on their sleeve all the time. Um,
exactly.
yeah,
And
Jackie's
Jackie,
talking
I'll
about
bet you do.
absorbing people's energy. I think that's so you're probably also an empath on top of being
Empath.
a Pisces, which has got to be all kinds of a mess for even for probably around others being friends with you too, being like, oh gosh, she's at it again. And if you're an
Mhm.
empath and you don't clear your energy, right, as you're picking up people's energy, I can see how that can be a lot of crying. Need to keep a lot of tissues on you. So
Mhm.
Zara is asking, um, even though we aren't really trying to get into romance questions, but I know that you asked this in the beginning. And you've kind of and you've listened to the whole, we've gone through all the signs, and so I know you're asking again, are two Pisces compatible in romance and dating?
They
I guess
can be.
I guess it'd be kind of hard, right? Because you guys are both sensitive. So if
Yes, but but typically if there's two Pisces, one is going to inadvertently become the narcissist and one's going to stay the empath. Because we've been talking about this, that there's a fine line really between an empath and a narcissist. A narcissist can be an unhealed empath, but an unhealed empath is also pretty hard. You know, it's pretty hard to like carry around all of that. So most Pisces that I know are empaths, but it depends on where it really depends on where the moons are. It depends on where the rising is. I mean, there's a lot at play here because you would think that two Virgos would be compatible, right? Well, my husband and I are two Virgos, but part of the reason why we're so compatible is because we have different placements in our charts that keep us from tearing each other up with our perfectionism. You know, we we have a lot of things in our charts that keep us from like being like so over the top Virgo. And that's what you want with Pisces is you want to have different things in your chart that keeps you from being so over the top Pisces.
Jackie's saying that her and her husband are both Pisces and they've been married for 20 years.
I
So
would
Jackie,
love to
what's
see
the
that chart.
secret? What's the secret with that? I want to know.
That's awesome. I'm in and out with an Aquarius. Barbara, I wonder what's your sign? Because I'll bet I know what's keeping you hanging on to that Aquarius. I mean, because most Aquarians just ooze that sexual energy, and you're like,
Ooh.
ah,
Mm.
yeah.
So
It's a Barbara, that's a good combination too. He is an
excellent
excellent caregiver.
caregiver and provider. That goes a long way, right? When you hit those
Really,
tough
really
shadow
does.
spots, you're like, but such a good, that's always balanced. So it looks like we are running over on time. Sorry, Jim, because
It
I did that on
it's
Monday
my
with
fault.
Corey. Just so much to
Well,
talk about, you
but
know?
we do it all the time on Metaphysical Roundtable on Thursdays. So you've witnessed that.
Yep, yeah.
It's good.
It's just hard when you get into it. It's just I don't know. When you're passionate about talking about these topics, it's just like we literally just scratched the surface, right? We didn't even really
Yeah.
get into more of those details, right? As we kind of just were towards the end there when we were talking about romance, right?
Mhm.
Kind of talking about and that's what like for me, I get so annoyed with astrology groups because all they want to talk about is Pisces okay with Pisces, like uh amazing Zara has asked, but as Jackie expressed, like obviously Pisces and Pisces does work. And I love how you explained that it's so much deeper than just does a Pisces and a Pisces work, right? You have to,
It
as you explained with you and your husband both being Virgos, it's about so much more than just your sun signs when you're looking for how compatible you are just with individuals, with others on that individual level, right? So you
Absolutely.
astrology in one way just for self-discovery is just one thing all within itself, but then it's
Right.
completely different when you're also looking for compatibility, right? So there's just
Exactly.
more.
There's so much more. And because like one of my dads, so both my parents have been married twice. They're all on their second marriages. Those are sticking, thank God. So one of my dads, his first wife was a Virgo, just a couple of days before my mom, and my mom is a Virgo. But they are very compatible, where he and his first wife were not compatible at all. And so I mean, it's a very slippery slope, and you have to look at the big picture.
Yeah,
You have
that's
to look at all of it.
that's why you can't just be like, oh, don't date Virgos because they're all blah blah blah. Oh, don't hang around
Yeah.
Scorpios or blah blah blah. Like it's like guys, that gets a little bigoted. Like, come on, you can't change when you're born, and there's so much more going on. But it is fun and funny because a lot of times we are our stereotypes, right? And that's what I
Mhm.
think makes learning astrology so much fun when you get into it. Is it's kind of a taboo, but the more you experience it, the more you see that people do uphold to these stereotypes that go with it. And I know Bodhi is saying he's a Pisces married to a Virgo. So it is funny. We're talking about a lot of Pisces, Virgo, and Virgo. And here he is, a Pisces with a Virgo. So there's a lot here too. So
And
thank
they're
you so
they're
much,
really
Jennifer, for joining
well,
us.
you're so welcome. You're so welcome. And Pisces Virgo are compatible because they're opposite each other. Like,
Mm-hmm.
they're exact opposite. So at least on the chart they are.
Opposites
It's a
attract.
very I know, it's a very interesting dynamic. And yes, I know Pisces have awesome sex too. Believe me, I dated everybody before I got married.
So we got to do a chart one day with Jennifer. So let's rate the signs in bed 1 through 10. You're like, but I have a Pisces at 3 and a Pisces at 7 because again, they're not all the same.
They're not. They're not all the same. You got to see what else is in your chart. So it's a lot of fun. It is a lot of fun studying this stuff. But this has been so much fun, Lee. Thank you so much.
Are you going to be on tomorrow for a metaphysical roundtable?
No, we are taking Thanksgiving off for Metaphysical Roundtable. We will
Gobble
reconvene
gobble.
next week. Yes, but we are putting out a new Discovering Oracle and Tarot on our YouTube channel, on Metaphysical Roundtable's YouTube channel. So we've got 5 up there, and one of them was a card deck that you had at the beginning, the Moonology. Yeah.
Yes, the moonology. I
And
don't think she shared all these. This is the other
so we
aspect of shadows, right? Just getting into the moon, right? I'll have to have
yeah.
you on another time and we'll just have to talk about just how to use the
Just
moon in shadow
just
work.
talk about the moon. Yeah. But
Just the moon.
but we are putting out another, because we didn't do any shows this week. We are putting out another Oracle deck review. So I don't know if we reviewed a tarot deck or an Oracle deck this week, but we did review some, and then we've got some coming up that you loaned us. So we're excited about that too.
Yay.
Yeah.
So
But yes, thank you so much for having me on the show.
thank you. Well, we will see you then next week on the Metaphysical Roundtable. And for all the rest of y'all who have joined in, by the way, the Metaphysical Roundtable can be, you can catch them on YouTube or on Facebook, also through the Spirit Realm Network on Facebook. And that's every Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, so check out Jennifer over at the Metaphysical Roundtable. And if you guys are joining in the after video, or were interested in a reading, which we didn't do any readings this Wednesday, next week I will be live again every Wednesday. Mastering the Shadows is 5 to 6 p.m. Eastern Time. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Welcome, Kim from Idaho. I know you're just joining us at the end, but we hope to see you next time. You guys, thank you, right? Thanksgiving. Thank you so much for joining us. And I hope that you guys have a fantastic Thanksgiving and really take that time to really embrace the things that you are thankful for so that they can come back further into your life more. So thank you. Thank you, Jennifer. And thank you, everyone.
Thank
Take
you.
care.
Bye.